Alright guys, welcome back to the review Vote for All. Today we're looking at One Piece DXF The Grandline Lady Wano Country Volume 11 featuring Ulti. And honestly, this figure wastes zero time telling you exactly who she is. So let's actually look at the box here since I have it. I know some of you really like to examine the box, so that's what we'll be doing. So as you can see, I got this for $20, which is not bad for these type of figures. For those of you who really collect and know your anime figures, these type of boxes instantly tell you the type of figure it is, usually on the cheaper side. Maybe you could get a steal on this somewhere for $10-15. 20 is not a bad price, but it's definitely more expensive than these type of boxes usually go for. All right, so actually opening the box. Yep, that's all. Still in the packaging. So it seems like you do have to build her. I mean, only 3 pieces though. Not bad. Not complicated. So we'll be cutting this here. Here we have the stand. Nothing crazy. I mean, it's a stand, right? Here we have the actual body. So here you could probably see the detail. So it seems like she just goes in here, maybe like this. Oh, yep, there you go. Then her head here. Just pop that in. All right, there we go. So let's take a good look at her. All right, so first impressions. Obviously, it would have to be her presence. If you've watched the Wano arc of One Piece, you already know Ulti doesn't do subtle. She's a very loud person. The first thing that jumps out is the stance. This is not a passive pose, right? Her legs are planted onto the base here, right? Very confident leg pose here. Her body is angled forward slightly, as you can tell, right? Her expression is very confrontational, as you can tell by the arm pose here. Basically asking you, what are you gonna do about it? Even standing still, she feels like she's mid-argument with somebody, which is exactly on brand with the type of character she is. So the color and outfit, her color palette here is loud in a way that only works because it matches her personality. For example, the pink hair is bright and glossy, instantly grabbing attention, yet her blue and white outfit creates strong contrast against her hair, right? Because you have a very bright pink here, but then you have a very light baby blue and white for her shirt and skirt. her horns, her white horns, and then her red shoes, which contrasts against her entire outfit. Right, once again, very bright pink shoes, or red shoes, right alongside her bright pink hair. Minimal shading, but clean paint separation, keeping everything, you know, readable, nice. This isn't meant to be realistic, it's meant to be bold, just like Ulti herself. Her blue cape back here, with the light baby blue outline here. Some folding to add some, you know, realism to the figure. Ulti in anime is an aggressive, proud, and constantly in your face type of person, especially when it comes to authority figures, if you've seen the anime. And this figure reflects that perfectly. Here you can see her chin lifted slightly, kind of signifying like defiance. Wide eyes, if you could see her pink eyes, very wide, confrontational, staring you down, intense, right? Her tight posture, tense, very tense, not relaxed at all. Once again, this looks like Ulti mid-rant, right before she charges at someone without thinking twice. If you've seen her clash with Luffy, or mouth off to the Kaido officers, you know, this expression instantly clicks. So if that's what you're into, I would definitely recommend getting this figure. DXF figures aren't about extreme micro detail, they're about strong silhouettes, and Ulti is great to match that philosophy, you know. Clean lines, simple but expressive face sculpt, horns and hair give her instant recognizable outline. From across the room, you definitely know who this is, right? Then again, it helps that Ulti has a good character design to her, obviously. The figure obviously does amplify her character design, but she obviously has a very recognizable character design to begin with, right? So, Ulti would work best as a front row figure. Her looks are definitely strongest head on. If you put her on a shelf with other One Piece characters, or I would say a lot of other anime characters, she would definitely not blend in. She would probably be one of the first figures you notice on your shelf. This is a price style figure designed for accessibility, you know, affordable, not a high-end scale, but for fans who really love One Piece and Ulti and, you know, just wants her as a figure. Once again, you could tell that's true from the box. I mentioned before that when you see this type of box, and it's hard to explain what I mean by that, but for those of you who do know what I'm talking about, you know what I mean. These type of figures that come within this specific style of box are usually affordable. You know, they're not meant to be some like crazy statue, right? They're supposed to be affordable. I got it for $20, which is not bad, but you could definitely get it for cheaper at some other places. Like, for example, like you probably don't want to buy it at like places like Box Lunch like very official store type places, you know, you probably want to go to, I don't want to call them secondhand stores, because sometimes they do, because for example, like I bought this at a secondhand store, but as you saw, it was like wrapped in the wrapping, so it's like new, it's not secondhand. Oh, you could probably call it like a mom and pop shop. You don't want to go to like a very corporate type of company, probably like a mom and pop shop. They usually would have it cheaper. You know, because if you got this figure at some place like Box Lunch, it would definitely be maybe like $25 to $30 for this figure. I wouldn't doubt it. Because I've shopped at Box Lunch before and I know their prices. So my final thoughts. This is definitely a figure that I'm happy with. It perfectly captures what you would want in Ulti. Very defiant, confident, aggressive, you know, defiant type of person. If your shelf needs someone who looks like they're about to start a fight with the rest of your collection, this is absolutely the figure you would want. Alright, so thank you for tuning in for another video. Come back next time for more reviews on anime figures and other collectibles. And I'll see you next time.